episode of Rugby with Pads. I'm your host Sam, and we are in the final stretch of tiers. Next time we'll do see all the tiers put together. We'll go group by group and do a bit of commentary around each one, give you some further content and some actual tools to be able to use in your draft. But today we're going to be looking at our final division, and we're going to be looking at the NFC beast of the East. But is it? Let's have a look. Without further ado, let's start off with the team I have the least expectations for, the New York Giants. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart, get in the bin. You're streaming. I don't know who you're going to be, guys, but yeah. You're all streamers to me. I can't see anything better than that. You know, the fact that you are on an NFL roster does not mean you're going to be on my fantasy roster, but for the time being, I'm going to enjoy it. Running back is an interesting group because they drafted Cam Scatterboo, who had so much hype going into the fantasy, pre-season before the draft, pre-draft process. Is he going to be generationally good? No. Is he going to get the opportunity he needs to be good? Probably not. They've got Tyron Tracy, who, yes, had 5th round value last year. Yes, he could be cut, but he was really good. And as such, I'm kind of, I think it's going to be a split backfield because you've got a mix of Tyron Tracy, who was good and became the lead back there. You've got a different regime though, and it could be more pass heavy again. I just don't see any of these guys breaking out, but I do like Tracy as being the one out of these guys. The handcuff, in my opinion, is probably still. Is it Devin Singletary? I don't know. I'm gonna put Scatterboo here because I like him, and I think he could be useful. And I think once he gets into his own, he could be really good. And I'm ignoring Devin Singletary because not for the stats, but do you ever want to say to someone, "Yeah, my team's great. It's got Devin Singletary in it"? No, you don't. But the potential for Cam Scatterboo and the potential for Tracy, yeah, if any of them should be able to carve out a role as the number one, is really there. Wide receiver, I need to look at this. Everyone in Dynasty says, Malik Neighbours, wide receiver 1 for Dynasty. I'm not sure if I see it. He had a statistically stupendous season last year, but on bad targets, 109 receptions in 15 games and 7 touchdowns. I feel like he should have got more. And maybe that speaks to potential. Maybe he's going to be better, but I feel like part of his success comes from the fact that they had to throw so much because they didn't have anyone else. And with that, I can't put him in elite hands. I just can't do it because he's a Giants quarterback, and because of the Giants quarterbacks. Sorry, he's a Giants wide receiver. If it's going to be Jameis, it's going to be Russell, it's going to be Jackson Dart. I don't know who it's going to be. Therefore, I can't lock him in as an elite hands. I can't draft him in the first. So for me, I'm probably not going to have many shares of Malik Neighbours, and I would love to be proved wrong because I think he is incredibly well talented. But I just can't see who it's going to be. And this might sound like a cop-out, guys, but every other Giants wide receiver, I don't know what to do with, so I'm ignoring them. I don't know who it's going to be. This feels like such a one-track team. And if it's going to be anyone else, it could be anyone else on any given day. Darius Slayton's going to have his day. He's going to have one player game where you think, make or break his entire week. Do I want that on my side? No, I don't. Wan'Dale Robinson, I've just been hovering there as a guy. Little Jordan Humphrey, the least small out of a lot of them, I think. He's actually quite a big dude. Zach Pascal, Jalen Hyatt, interesting rookie there. The rest of the guys, I don't even know. So I just can't put my faith in any of them. And the reason Malik Neighbours is going to get all those targets is because there's no one else to throw to. And yes, he is a very good separator. That's probably why he got so many targets but didn't get as many receptions. I think if the quarterback play and the quarterback volume does that, he could slip into that game changer, that generational talent, but that elite hands. But I can't see it because of the supply. That's the problem. And unfortunately, guys, I can't really see it in the tight end room. It's going to be a rotating cast. Could it be Theo Johnson? Could it be Daniel Bellinger? Let's have a look at both of their stats here. Daniel Bellinger, last year, 14. Is that right? he was not used at all. He just felt like he was always there. 3 seasons, he's only had 69 receptions on 46 games. That is rubbish. Theo Johnson, I think he's had 1 season. Yeah, last season he was used more, 29 receptions last year. Are any of those numbers that I can project? No. I think you could put every Giants player in the bottom tier except Malik Neighbors. No, that's a lie. The running back room, I think, is a little bit better, but it's just not fun. The pass catches just aren't good. And let me get off this team because I want to talk about good teams, and then I have to talk about the Cowboys. No, joking aside, the Cowboys aren't bad. Dak Prescott, he's going to show you something. Could he be a league winner? Yeah, maybe. I still think he is a late value. He's not someone I'm going to go out of my way and go and retrieve. Yes, he's thrown to CD Lamb. Yes, he's thrown to George Pickens, but I can't see him beyond that because of the availability conversation as well. Last couple of seasons, he has had trouble staying on the field. And I'm going to prove that by showing the stats here. Yep. 2020, 5 games, 2021, full set, 2022, 12 games, 17, 8 games last year. His average depth of average target is pretty good, 7.6. His completion ratio is good. He's a good pocket passer, and he's going to throw a lot of yards. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns, but he doesn't throw that many. His season high was 37 in 2021. But since then, 36 in 2023 was also respectable as well. But that was on a huge number, 410 completions there on nearly 600 attempts. He's going to be a volume play, but I don't think they're going to need him to throw nearly as much if they get the running game right. And they have tried to work on that, but I can't really see who it's going to be. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, Juice Form, they're just other guys. And as such, I'm going to kind of put them all, or at least a couple of them, to put Javonte and Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders in the handcuff category. And there's a reason for that. I know grouping them together sounds a bit weird as handcuffs because, like, well, who's the main guy? None of them are the main guy. I think until one of them breaks out, they're all in that kind of handcuff category because you're just waiting for one of them to go down and then get more volume opportunity. Jaden Blue is obviously more a third down back. Miles Sanders has been around the league a little bit. Obviously, he was relatively successful, inefficient though for the Eagles. Javonte Williams has the most potential, but can't stay on the field. I just can't really see who it's going to be out of those guys. But hopefully, together they make a good enough running back to open up the wide receiver game as well. And we're going to start off with CD Lamb. CD Lamb, if you can get him, get him. He is one of those guys who is a slot receiver, who just demands targets. He's a better version of Lad McConkey, and he can score touchdowns as well. I do think he is improved, and this might sound a bit kind of odd. His odds are improved by George Pickens being on the team, who I think has standalone league winner value. He is so talented. Have you seen that kid catch? Yes, he's an idiot, but he is a very talented idiot. So George Pickens goes in my league winner category. Do I see it being anyone else? No, I don't. Do I see Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo finally breaking out? None of the above. So I'm kind of ignoring the rest of them. I'm not even going to put them on the list here because they're not even in my consideration here. And at tight end, Jake Ferguson, he's just another guy. I feel like let's have a look at him and Luke Schoonemaker, or is it Schoonmaker? I don't know. Side by side. Jake Ferguson was okay, 59 targets. He's Hunter Henry minus, no touchdowns. Luke Schoonmaker last year, 27. Yeah, there's just not enough to go around when CD Lamb commits all the targets. So I'm ignoring all of the Cowboys tight ends. And maybe this is more of a story about there being limited but decent opportunity for individual players in the NFC East. It is a very strong league, but I think the tree is very narrow, and we'll probably see that when we come to the Philadelphia Eagles as well. Jalen Hurts is an amazing running back. And I say that because how many rushing touchdowns does he get? It's stupid. 14 rushing touchdowns this year. This is Josh Allen levels, but his touchdowns in the air are just so much lower. I can't put him in the same category as the guy as Josh Allen. So unfortunately, Jalen Hurts, you're going to go into my locked in QB. Oh, you are not unhappy if you have him. If you can get him in the third round, you are a very, very happy little boy or girl. There you go. But because of that, I can't put AJ Brown or Devonta Smith in the next category. I think in wide receivers, but I can put Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, despite having, did we say 18 touchdowns poached last year? And yes, he was on a prove it year. Yes, he was doing all this kind of 13 touchdowns, 2,000 yards rushing. That's crazy. Even in the receiving game, he added another 2 touchdowns, 278 yards, just on rushing upside alone. He's fantastic. If he gets involved in the passing game, which he could well do as well, and he has done, he can be even better. AJ Brown is, you consider him to be the number one guy and amazing, but because in an offense, he's a locked in guy, and I do really like him a lot. But I also think that Devonta Smith could take away enough targets. It's a very shallow tree. And yes, you're going to have people like Jahan Dotson spike up. I think we saw him a little bit at the end of the year. Jahan Dotson is very much, and he was quite highly drafted, I think, by the Commanders. And he appeared a little bit in the late season. So he is on my sleeper list. But it's AJ Brown as the locked in wide receiver one. And you've got Devonta Smith. If he becomes the Slim Reaper once more, he can be amazing for you. And in your tight end room, it's relatively obvious. I think you've got Dallas Goedert here in your flex value. He's not going to be amazing. Let's take a look at the stats, see if he pulls above Hunter Henry numbers. I feel like he doesn't these days. Yeah, 42 receptions, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's fine. You've got Guile. Is it Guile? I can't remember his name. Grant. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I'm going to try it. Calcaterra. I think he is the sleeper behind him and could potentially take some targets. He was used a bit more in the passing game than Goddard is. They get 2 tight end sets. You'll see him being the potential joker. It's an interesting lineup, and the Eagles are definitely the better of the 3 teams we've talked about so far, but maybe not the best. And let's take a look at the Commanders and see what they come out with. And we're going to start, of course, with Jaden Daniels. Quarterback 2 last year, 25 touchdowns, rushing yards 891, touchdowns 6 there. He's elusive and he doesn't go down that much. Yes, he was sacked 47 times, but it feels like he doesn't lose it that much. It just feels better than that. I don't know what it is. 55 first downs last year. He was the guy. Are they going to use him in the same way? Probably not. But are you going to draft him in the same way? Yes, you are. I think he does generally have the tools to be generational, and they were a couple of years ahead last year. They got to the NFC was it NFC Championship game they got to? I think they did, on a team that shouldn't have. And I think they're just going to build on that success because they've got such a strong base here. In the running back room, I do think it's just guys. Brian Robinson it is not a RB1 workhorse. I didn't mean to put it in that category at all. But Brian Robinson Jr. he's a letter of the 2 B Robinsons. Do not draft him if you're trying to draft Bijan. Make sure you look at the team. I do think Austin Eckler has a little bit of standalone value if you're in a very deep league, but he is a very obvious handcuff. The other guys are just there. For example, wide receiver room, I think is going to be interesting again because the addition of Deebo Samuel, I do think he has some standalone value. I think he's a late kind of guy like Cup, and I think he is going to stand up on his own. So Deebo continues to go in my kind of flex value spot. He's that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 archetype. Could he be considered better than that? Yes, he could. He's obviously shown it. He could be part of the running game as well, which, in my opinion, reduces the running game value a little bit. However, it's going to run through Terry McLaurin. Is he going to get 13 touchdowns again this year? No, he's not. It's going to be a regression to that. Someone going to go to Deebo, someone going to go elsewhere. Do I think he's going to be a locked-in wide receiver 1? Yes, I feel like he's on a level with AJ Brown, and his separation is still elite, and he's just been paid as well. So Terry McLaurin, you're a locked-in wide receiver 1, in my opinion. Noah Brown is interesting to me, but he is a deep sleeper at best. I think he was at the Texans before. Is that the same guy? Let's have a quick look. No, he was at Dallas and then at the Texans. He's been around the block a lot. Was used infrequently last year, but when he did get a chance, 12.1, one touchdown. I think he's just got something about him. Maybe that's a very deep sleeper and you're not interested in him at all. I think just the distribution of targets, it's got to go somewhere, but he is kind of on that lower end of the sleeper bracket for wide receivers. Tight ends, who is it going to be? Zach Ertz, is he like 48 or something like that? No, he's 34. Oh, he's younger than me. Damn, that's embarrassing. Last year was bonkers though. He returned to form, returned to a full 17 game slate, 66 receptions. It wasn't amazing. He is a flex streamer. He's on the low end of that as well. And if we look at the kind of real drop off of tight end, you'll really see it when we expand this out. Who else is here? I don't know. Is it going to be John Bates? Ben Sinnott has always been talked about as being incredibly talented. I think he got 1 reception last year or something stupid like that. Yeah, 17 games, 5 receptions, 1 TD. And I think that was... actually, that's right. If we look at the postseason, his stats. Yeah. Games played 3, 1 reception on 1 target for 23. I think that was on a trick play, but not someone I'm going to consider, but just a fun little remember there. It's interesting. Yeah, the NFC East is going to be incredibly strong in real terms. In fantasy, I think it's because they are building on such strong foundations from the running game often, and just one standout player in each of their teams. For the Giants, the standout player is Malik Neighbors. For the Cowboys, the standout player is CeeDee Lamb. For Eagles, the standout player is Saquon Barkley. And for Commanders, it's their quarterback, Jaden Daniels. But let's have a look at each of those groups of skill players then. So the QB for the NFC East, you're taking Jaden Daniels as being your number 1 here. Generational talent. He's going to be in the top 4 or 5 guys this year. I can almost guarantee it. Locked in QB, Jalen Hurts, such a solid floor with the tush push, which has yet to be banned, I think. I don't know. Either way, he's gonna score some QB sneaks. Late value, you've got Dak Prescott, and I am pretty much ignoring / streaming the Giants quarterbacks because they're going to be chopping and changing. You do not want to draft someone that you've got to drop, or that you can't play until later on in the season if you're looking at Jackson Dart. There is a game changer running back, and we've completed our set of game changer running backs alongside the likes of Gibbs, Bijan, CMC. You, of course, have Saquon Barkley. He is going to be a top 5 running back perennially until he decides to hang it up. And I think he'll be able to decide how it hangs up. But there is a big gap in the NFC. There is no workhorses, no league winners. Then you get to flex value. I want to say Tony Tracy. Can't even remember his name, but Tracy for the Jets. Tyrone Tracy. Oh goodness, this is really going to annoy me. Let's have a quick look who he is. Tyrone Tracy Jr. Yes, it is that. He is going to be in my flex value spot alongside Brian Robinson Jr., the lesser of the B Robs there. You've got a lot of handcuff opportunity here. Cam Scatterbo could become the guy. I think he's got all the talent in the world. There's a lot of hype around him. I think the hype is probably a bit too much. He is, after all, a 3rd or 4th round running back. They don't often stay for multiple contracts, but he might be here for a good time, not a long time. Similar to Stephon Diggs in the last episode. It's full of handcuffs in the Cowboys room. They haven't sorted out the running back room. Javonte Williams has the most opportunity potentially. Jaden Blue, I think, has the most viv and verve and 3rd down guy. Miles Sanders is there. That's all I can say. Austin Eckler, I do think maybe has some standalone value in the passing game, but that's about all I can do. And I'm ignoring Devin Singletary because it's Devin Singletary. The wide receivers look cracked for this group, though. It's probably the highest rated set of wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb is in elite hands and completes our set alongside Puka, Ladd McConkey, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamar Chase. He is in that top 5 conversation every year, and you would not be upset having him in the first round. Malik Neighbors could be there and is in a lot of people's opinions. I just can't get over the quarterback situation over there in the Giants team, so he's a locked-in wide receiver 1 on volume alone. AJ Brown for efficiency, Terry McLaurin because he's Terry McLaurin is separation. The next guys up, I think this is the best wide receiver 2 set by far, and all these guys could be considered wide receiver 1s in their own right. George Pickens, so talented, insane person. Devontae Smith, Slim Reaper, yeah, if you can get that, you're great. And Deebo Samuel is a great wide receiver 2 to have because he is so flexible in the game. Yes, people are saying he needs to lose a few pounds. So do I. I'm not going to be the one saying that. But I think he is incredibly talented, and I believe in the Bosons, the Debo Renaissance. Let's go with that. Jahan Dotson and Noah Brown, I think, have super potential, but these are 2 wide receiver rooms, or any wide receiver rooms if they can get in the Giants. I think Jahan Dotson would immediately go up to flex value if he was on the Giants, for example. I think he's very talented. He's just not got the opportunity, and maybe hasn't got quite the work ethic we need to see. Hopefully, he'll get that with a full season at the Eagles. Tight end isn't anything to write home about. Dallas Goedert and Ertz are names, flex value at best. Calcaterra, I think, has the opportunity to take over from Dallas Goedert over time, potentially a bit more flexible in the passing game. But Giants tight ends, Cowboys tight ends, no thank you. You're probably going to have to draft one of them. They don't have any upside, in my opinion. That's where it stands. And that, guys, is your lot for the NFC East. And that rounds out all our divisions. Next time, we will be looking at the whole tiers for each of these groupings one by one, and we will be doing a draft on them as well. So it'll probably be a bit of a mega episode. So hope you're looking forward to that. But that leaves me to say thank you so much for listening. As always, if you're interested in supporting the pod, follow us on all the socials at Rugby with Pads. If you're interested in supporting financially as well, you can support for as little as £1 a month, or just buy me a coffee at rugbywithpads.com. You get all your memberships, and you can get some cheap merch there if you're a member as well. So it's worth paying the pound just to get the merch. Don't tell anyone it's a bit of a hack. You can cancel afterwards. Anyway, that's that. What else was I going to say? Guys, if you've given up 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, that's appreciative. The most you can do for me is to tell someone else about this pod, get someone involved in fantasy football. That's what this is about. This is a passion project for me, and hopefully it is for you guys as well. But leaves me to say thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all very soon on the Virtual Gridiron.